Shalom Aleichem, welcome to class. This is Rabbi Dr. Oluwafemi. Today in the class, we'll be addressing the biblical Greek and the topic, the Greek nouns in the first declension. The Greek nouns in the first declension. We'll narrow it down to the masculine category. So the Greek nouns and the first declension. So then we'll be talking regularly on the masculine category. Yeah. So we are addressing majorly masculine category now. What about the Greek nouns? Previously, we discussed features of Greek nouns. One of the features of Greek nouns is that it has declension. Yeah, we have a grouping of the first, the second, and the third. And majorly, we address the second declension usually before the first, because of the paradigms. So what we be learning in the class this day is the masculine category of the Greek nouns in the first declension. Now the first declension has virtually 80 to 90% nouns that are feminine. Yeah. So that's why at times one can try to call that declension feminine declension. However, we have a few masculine nouns there. So, but we don't have a neuter noun and the first declension. So, in other words, we're addressing the first declension. The first declension, we have majorly feminine nouns. There are feminine nouns. Then a few masculine nouns. Yeah. But no neuter noun. So we have three things to note here. We are addressing the first declension under the groupings of the Greek nouns. On the first declension, we have majorly feminine nouns. Their gender is majorly feminine. Then we have a few masculine category. In that category, we have a few. Then we have no neuter noun. No neuter noun. Yeah. So now, having have this background, I'm gonna show the structure and that was the endings that we have to the cases in the masculine category under the first declension. We talk about the second declension nouns as full of masculine nouns. The endings for nominative case, we have us, oi, that's the plural. Then for genitive, we have u and we have on. Then for dative, we have o as omega with our iota subscript. And then on the plural part, we have os. Then we have ois. Then for accusative, we have on, that's on, omega and nu, and then in the plural part, we have us as omega, upsilon, and sigma. So now, in this particular declension, the first declension, the masculine category take a different ending. So that's what we're learning in the class today. We want to see the ending, and I'm also going to show a few a few masculine nouns that also feature in this first declension. Yeah. So let's see the ending now. All right. So still on the masculine category. So under this masculine category, we have three distinct groups. Talking about the masculine nouns that we have in the first declension, we have three distinct groups. So they are categorized into three groups. So the first is the major endings. Nouns. That's major nouns. That's the masculine nouns. So our major endings, and we have the other two are minor. So we will see the major endings. Now I want to show a chart for the major endings, then the minors that we have, so as to group the masculine nouns. So addressing the first part of it is the major ending group and all that stuff. So I want to see the major endings. We have a chart as well, as usual. Yeah. So we have these are the cases. Then it's in singular form. Then plural parts. So we have nominative case. We have accusative. We have dative. We have unitive. And we have vocative, which I will see how to put it up there. All right, so the case is now this for nominative case, the ending as major ending is ace, ace, ace. That's eta and sigma, ace. So why we have the plural part as I. Yeah. So that's for the subject of the discourse. Now the ending for the accusative. Aim, aim. That's eta and nun. Then the plural part as as. As. Then we have the dative part is a, that's eta with a, that's the iota subscript. Then we have the plural part as eyes, then the vocative part is also as the nominative. So, and that's in the plural part, or for the singular part. I, are, and the plural part, same as the nominative, that's I. Then finally we have the genitive part. Genitive as soon as who, and the plural part reads own. So in other words, when we are trying to attach an ending to masculine nouns in the first declension, that's to carry this. In other words, if it's the subject of the discourse, instead of having it as us initially, as the first and second declension, it becomes aims. Then plural part becomes I. Then for accusative, if that is particular object of the discourse, it becomes in. And then plural part as. Then for the dative part, as if it's the indirect object of that particular discourse. So it must be attached, or prefixed with a with iota subscript, then the plural parts eyes. Then for vocative case, that's the case of address. We had a for the plural parts I. And finally, for genitive, we have just like those in the second declension, that's who, own. Yeah. So now we will do this, pass this for the Greek word, that's the prophetess. So that the word prophetess is a masculine noun, but in the first declension. So let's have it now.